The woke agenda is everywhere, and I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate seeing it absolutely everywhere. And what I find most annoying are the kind of centre-leftist types who are accepting all of the words and premises of the radical left and just saying, no, these are fine. We're just going to use the tools of people who express an open desire to smash the civilization we live in. When they say smash the patriarchy, smash the white supremacy, smash this, that, and the other, what do you think they're talking about? They're talking about the societies in which they live. The English-speaking, Anglo-Saxon, Western world is what they're talking about when they say the white supremacist capitalist patriarchy. That they want to get rid of. And then what we call that, we don't use those words for that thing, we call these Western liberal democracies. We call them constitutional republics. We call them the free world. I don't want to smash the free world. I'm actually rather in defense of the free world. And so when I see this in the Air Force, just like the Royal Air Force, who's the target audience? The whole force, the WF, right. So what's this? The key points: to promote and grow further inclusive environment in which everyone can develop and succeed. Open and transparent sharing of chosen pronouns is encouraged for all the Air Force colleagues. Where chosen pronouns are provided by an individual, all personnel are encouraged to ensure that they address the individual in line with their chosen pronouns. Common pronouns include they, she, he, ze, per, them, her, him, here, per, and their, her, his, hers, pers. Really, where the hell have these come from? Common? Like these are new as far as I'm concerned. These aren't the usual pronoun tumblers. Where have these been derived from? Why the fuck is the Air Force having an internal briefing memo that gets leaked to us? People send a phone and go, guys, check this nonsense out that I have to do in my job. Like, this is the full-on social justice radical left agenda. And for some reason, there are people on like the centre left, which I think they are still there, who don't seem to realise this is kraut. The contention here is that Amy Coney Barrett had given her 11-hour court Senate hearing. I didn't watch it because that sounds terribly boring, but she'd used the term sexual preference as if there's something wrong with the term sexual preference. And then someone had gone and changed it in a dictionary to try and make it offensive, as you can see at the bottom there on the right. It's been changed, and that was changed on the very same day. That was changed yesterday. So it's an Orwellian attempt by some radical leftists to try and rewrite history. And crowds like, well, calling homosexuality a sexual preference, frankly, is offensive. There's nothing to do with woke culture or SJWs. Are you insane? Are you insane? Heterosexuality is a sexual preference. Homosexuality is a sexual preference. These are not offensive terms. They do not suggest that people choose their sexuality, because nobody thinks that you choose your preferences. If anything, it speaks to an innate, intrinsic part of your person, whether genetic or something that was inculcated into you when you were a child, but it's a part of your irrational mind. These are your preferences, and you make discriminatory choices based on your preferences all day, every day. You don't end up going and having sex with a man because you happen to have a preference, an innate preference for women. You make that discrimination all day and no one thinks it's bad. There is nothing bad with having preferences. It is not in any way offensive. And the very fact that we're talking about the offensive nature of such mundane terms is woke culture and you being a useful idiot of the SJWs. Why would you police this? You've got Joe Biden's stupid platform here, which is LGBTQ+. What's wrong with anything here, says Sean Head. This is the most vanilla pro-LGBT platform I've ever seen. Most of it's hot air. You won't put it into policy. Yeah, but why are we using the terminology of the radical left? The terms LGBT came out of radical feminist academic activism from like the 70s and 80s and 90s. Why would I accept that framing? I mean, what does it even mean? It's such a nonsense term. It's incoherent. Lesbians, gays, bisexuals. Okay, that could be an interest group I can accept because they're about sexuality. Transgenderism is not about sexuality. And the queer, I mean, who knows what that means these days, but the plus, it's like you're part of an identity group that you can't even remember. You just say, well, and plus whatever else we choose to tack on here. To be determined. What nonsense is this? This is not a natural identity. This is not how people feel. This is an activist group that's been cobbled together with the purpose of changing society by people who are actually Marxist, radical leftist, crazy people who want to destroy the nuclear family and do all of that sort of stuff. And they'll just openly tell us. Why would we be in favour of it? But then you get Shu saying things like this. Where is it? There's nothing wrong with good IDPOL, identity politics. It's the bad identity politics we're against. Okay, that's brilliant. We're for good things and not for bad things. We are totally in favour of identity politics as long as we agreed with the leftists on this. Like, this is terrible. This is terrible. Absolutely terrible. We shouldn't be going for identity politics. We should be going for interest politics. But anyway, I like associative politics. But I don't want to get distracted on this. And I'm sorry that I sound like an asshole, but I'm just really tired of this. I mean, like, the Los Angeles Times is like, oh, I can't believe we're having a discussion about censoring cuties. It's like, cuties appears to actually be child porn. I watched Louis Levi's review, and apparently one of the girls actually gets her breast out, and it's unclear how old this girl is. So it may well be that, like, France has lower age of consent laws for this sort of stuff, and so this girl could, maybe 14, 15, and in America, they're showing 15-year-old tits on Netflix. Like, where obviously that's below the age of consent. So, I mean, there's some real questions to be had here. But the idea that there's going to be sort of like left-wing moral outrage about this. Is it censorship if the movie actually is breaking the law? Because I don't think it is. I think the concern, the moral weight behind the term censorship, and the reason that it's important, is because it's usually being considered to be done unjustly, as in the material is legal, but it is for moral or political reasons that it is being censored. However, I think there's probably an argument to suggest that there's much in cuties that isn't legal, or at least very, very finely skirts that line. And so I don't think this comes under the category of political censorship. This is something I just can't get over. And, like, if I said this to someone about almost any other subject, I think they'd think that we were mad. But this is from the NHS's website about treatment for gender dysphoria, and I just can't get over it. So they can have 3 to 6 appointments over a period of several months from a bunch of people who are just totally not going to be ideologically invested in any of this, I'm sure. So possibly after 3 appointments, they can end up with a referral to a specialist hormone clinic for hormone blockers for children who meet strict criteria at puberty. My God, those criteria are going to have to be pretty bloody strict. Because, I mean, it's really interesting what they've got written here. Some young people with lasting signs of gender dysphoria who meet strict criteria may be referred to a hormone specialist to see if they can take hormone blockers as they reach puberty. This is in addition to psychological support. These hormone blockers cause physical changes of puberty such as breast development, the physical changes of puberty such as breast development and facial hair. Little is known about the long-term side effects of hormone or puberty blockers in children with gender dysphoria. Right. So what the fuck are these strict criteria? I mean, how strict must they be if they allow children to take puberty blocking drugs? So, like, a core part of what it is to be a human is to go through puberty. Every human does it. Every human. And the changes that it has to your body and your mind and the rest of your life are determined here. And we don't know anything about the long-term side effects of the hormones or giving it to these kids. And yet there are still criteria from the British National Health Service that allow this to happen. Like, I am staggered that this is okay with people, that no one cares. No one thinks this is wrong. I think this is tragic. This is the least prudent thing I've ever seen in my life. Although the Gender Identity Development Service advises this is physically reversible treatment if stopped, it is not known what the psychological effects may be. And the thing is, I know that it's not known that the effects are, like, completely reversible. You can end up with lasting consequences, such as infertility and other things like that. But I don't want to get into it here. It's also not known whether hormone blockers affect the development of teenage brain or children's bones. Side effects may include hot flushes, fatigue, and mood alterations. No, they do know that there's like osteoporosis or something like that. There's bone problems that are caused by this. Don't worry though. Don't worry. I mean, your teenage child felt that they might have been a girl that day, so give them the hormone blockers. This is insane. Like, irreversible changes. Like, I can't get over But this is what's happened because of the influence of the radical left. There's no other political movement that has allowed this to happen, that's facilitated it, that has brought it into being. And sort of centre leftists who are also using their terminology and agreeing with all their points. I mean, honestly, ask yourself, Shu, and I mean this seriously, genuinely have an honest conversation. Don't do like the Twitter irony thing. Ask yourself, in what way are you not woke? What about what they believe do you not believe? Because really, I think what you always complain about is their behaviour from one person to another that is obviously unjust when you look at it from a sort of more objective, power-based dynamic. But otherwise, how do you disagree with them? In what way? I genuinely want to know. Do a video telling me what woke talking points you disagree with, why they're wrong. And wrong in principle, not just because of the way that they're being applied by bad people on the internet. Because I think that you'll find that actually maybe you agree with almost all of it. Because it really looks like you might. I mean, like, what's the definition of a woman? That's a really important question. I see you going after TERFs all the time, but fundamentally, the TERFs appear to be the ones who are speaking to reality, rather than the woke radicals who think that literally the definition of woman includes the word woman, like a circular recursive definition that they're basing this on. But it's because of the subversion of the language that all of this has been allowed to happen. But what I love about it is it's all still about online virtual purity spiraling. Look, this is offensive. This is offensive. Dude, there are kids who are getting their lives ruined. Like, there are websites like setschangeregret.com and, you know, like subreddits where you can just read the stories of the people who have been through this stuff. And like, when they're saying, oh, I went through the surgery, I woke up and then I realized that I don't have a vagina. I just have a hole that constantly stinks of feces because it's made out of my intestines. And I have to, I feel ruined forever and I want to kill myself. I'm just looking at that and thinking, man, the conservatives are right about gender. The conservatives are right about gender. The left are not right about gender. They don't understand what they're doing. They think they know more than what they know, and they think they have a better grasp on science than they do, clearly. And the conservatives are right. It's better to be prudent regarding a child's gender and sexuality. That's just, I think, sound advice that thousands of years of being human beings have taught us. You know, like, it's just prudent and it's good for the children to do that. It's not, it might be bad for social justice, it might be bad for woke intersectionality, it might be bad for the LGBTQ plus community or whatever else is. Don't care. It's definitely better for children to be more conservative when it comes to fucking around with their bodies when they're growing up. I'm telling you, that is just a truism that you can take to the bank and will be true forever. Anyway, folks, I'm going to stop ranting and raving. And I decided, sorry if I've offended anyone with this video. It's just this drives me crazy. And it drives me crazy watching people I like, or used to like, just being useful idiots to this stuff. I can't believe you can't see how they're taking advantage of you. But anyway, folks, if you'd like to support the channel, you can check out our merch store, which will not be around for very much longer, because when we have got the new stuff set up, which is going to be very soon, it's going to go. And so if I actually need to order some stuff for myself, because so here's a bit of a personal thing. My wife's like, right, we're running out of wardrobe room. Can you throw out some of your stuff? And so I went in and got some of my old shirts, and literally just like, I can't believe how fucking fat I was if I wore these shirts. I mean, I don't feel any different, but like, I'm wearing one now. Look at this. So I actually do need to buy a bunch of new shirts, so I'm probably going to have to get some myself. But I'm actually going to have to order some because I do quite like these. Like, I love the Yuri stuff. I love the Yuri stuff. It's my favourite meme because this does seem to be the part of the pattern of subversion. Like, all of these people just use these leftist terms and follow these leftist patterns of behaviour. Like, I remember once Kraut having a conversation with me, and he was just saying, like, I don't know what the point of all this moralising is sometimes. I just don't know why I do it. And I remember at the time not really thinking about it either and just saying, well, I don't know, but I just enjoy it. And I do wonder if that's part of the problem, right? It's like not about being accurate. It's not about actually solving problems, but it is about feeling superior. And I think there's a lot to think about there, and I really hope that the people that I've talked about in this video will have a think about this sort of stuff, because I think there's real damage being done. Anyway, folks, I'll see you in the next video.